Hi there! According to scientists, humans only researched about 5% of the underwater world, which probably means that there are many sunken boats, treasures, and maybe even sunken cities for that matter. There are obviously many creatures that we've never seen before. Okay, so today we have 10 some of the most frightening things that divers found underwater, you guys. So let's watch. This first video certainly feels like it was shot somewhere else, even though the footage was captured near West California. But it looks like it's not from this earth, that's for sure. It shows us some very strange creature, a kind of glowing purple sort of orb. It looks very attractive and it makes you want to touch it. Those who found it didn't want to come near it at first because they thought it might be dangerous. And so then they finally dared to come nearer. And it turned out that it was a kind of purple ball, a few centimeters in diameter. And it looked quite marvelous. It was decided to take the thing away to study it in the laboratory. While they were studying it, it got split in two. Unfortunately, we don't quite know what this thing is yet, but scientists are trying their best to find out. On the 4th of April in 1900, a diver by the name Locomotives found an ancient Roman ship that sunk in the Aegean Sea between the islands of Crete and the Peloponnese Peninsula. It sunk 62 meters down and there were many artifacts down there. The divers brought up many great statues of the Greek gods, jewels, and other interesting and amazing findings. But the most interesting one of all was the strange Antikythera mechanism. People studied this thing for over 50 years. Some go as far as to claim that it was built in the 2nd century BC, which means it could be 2,000 years old. Another theory suggests that it could be the world's oldest computer that was built to follow the movements of the planets. When we talk about things we find in the depth of the ocean, we normally think about piles of gold and treasure chests. A lot of people dream about finding something truly valuable. And so there was this company of enthusiasts who were trying to study the underwater world near Fort Pierce in Florida. 11 Spanish ships sunk in that area in 1715. Each ship was packed with precious metals and jewels. And even though a lot of treasure hunters been here before, these guys actually managed to find something. So one time, one of the crew members found a few golden coins, and they decided to go for a full treasure hunt after that. Over the course of their search, they found a total of 51 coins. You might be thinking that it's not a lot, but hear this. Among all the coins they found, there was a royal one that cost $500,000, imagine that. But the fascinating news is that there were only 6 ships found and there are actually 11 more. So those were never found, and this means there's plenty of room for research still. Researcher Paul Hepler was in the middle of his diving session not far from the coast of New Jersey. Paul was very surprised when he suddenly found 2 giant locomotives. The finding turned out to be quite unique because locomotives don't supposed to ride underwater. It was quite a sight to behold, you can imagine. But either way, that's what happened and there should be a reasonable explanation to that. Further research have showed that it wasn't just 2 piles of scrap, those were 2 almost functional pieces of equipment. But what's really weird is the fact that those were 200 years old, and they were never mentioned in any of the archives. So that was quite strange. But how did it happen so that the 2 massive pieces of machinery were found abandoned underwater? The official version says that the trains were on a ship that was going somewhere, but nobody seems to know where exactly. There was probably a heavy storm that washed them away from the ship or something like that. But the weird part is that it was never mentioned in the shipping records. Till this day, nobody can tell the name of the ship that was transporting those locomotives. They also don't know for sure how the locomotives ended up on the bottom of the ocean floor, far away from the rails. We see Jason Voorhees in his trademark hockey mask in every episode of the Friday 13. He's meant to be a drowner, an immortal killer from the waters near a camp called Crystal Lake. So imagine yourself in a situation where you dive underwater, and then all of a sudden you see Jason himself staring at you in the face. This could make your heart stop. A lot of people felt terrified when they saw that Jason's mask put in a statue by a man by the name Curtis Lahr, put underwater so thoroughly. Curtis did it in 2013, and ever since then, he comes back every now and again to check on his idea. It's no wonder that a thing like this scares the hell out of most people. You can probably tell just by looking at this video. A similar case happened to divers from Arizona. Everything could turn real ugly for a couple of divers who were training at Lake Pleasant. The couple knew that there was Jason down there on the bottom of the lake. The video shows us Jason Voorhees in his trademark mask. Imagine the horror on the faces of those people who never knew there was Jason down there. A sight like this will make you shoot back up, and you'll probably never want to dive ever again in your life. All we know is that this particular statue is a doing of Zachary Nagy, who somehow thought it would be great to make things more interesting for other divers. But the local authorities didn't like the idea, and it was decided to get rid of it. So many people were wondering how come Jason wasn't there anymore. Some people probably thought he left, but was still somewhere out there, walking, trying to find things to kill. There are many mysterious things and secrets and ancient cities underwater. Places like that are always covered in mystery, myth, and legends. And they make many archaeologists nuts because they are so interesting. Nanguni Town in Japan is one of those places. It is over 10,000 years old. It was discovered almost by accident. It was found in East China Sea, and it was widely popular for its hammerhead sharks. Many divers from all over the world come to see this place. In 1985, one diving instructor was looking for a new, interesting place to dive, and so he found a sort of strange structure 5 meters deep. Those had sharp geometric forms and looked like those stair-step pyramids. It's like a whole underwater city. It is 150 meters wide and 200 meters long. It has walls, terraces, and there are many various buildings out there. There's also a road that goes around it and a stone wall. It was definitely a kind of finding that had to be reported to the authorities. Loretta Leahy was walking down the beach in Manzanita when all of a sudden she spotted a kind of amber glow in the water. She came a bit closer and took the glowing object in her hands. She couldn't understand what it was, so she decided to take it to the museum. When experts had a look, they instantly figured out it was a genuine beeswax. But how did it happen that it was lying on the shore of the Pacific? And how come there was so many of it? Turned out there were many ships going back and forth between Nahalem and Manzanita, although not many of them made it to the destination point. The found fragment could belong to a Spanish trading ship that was passing the area over 300 years ago. Unfortunately, this finding doesn't have much value in terms of money, but it's pretty much priceless for archaeologists. A group of divers found a mysterious semi-transparent giant sphere near the coast of Turkey. According to experts, it was a jelly-like substance. It was very soft and it was 70 feet deep underwater near one of the local towns. Diver who found it called it the thing. When the video was put online, some people suggested that it could be a squid's egg. Despite this, it still is quite a remarkable finding because squid eggs are very hard to find due to the short incubation period and the fact that they lay them very deep. Some findings can be really frightening to divers, especially for those who are emotionally unstable. Something that looks like a kind of frozen alien creature from outer space. It looks more like Ridley Scott's Alien, actually. As it later turned out, it was made by people who are accustomed to making such things and putting them underwater. This so-called sculpture was made out of old car parts, and the good news is that you can make photos with this thing. It's pretty fun. So have you guys ever found strange stuff underwater? Share your comments, press the like button, and tell your friends about this video. Subscribe to Real Bizarre and press the bell to stay in touch. Check out some more bizarre videos, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.